Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with today's trading action. All right, there's a few things rolling around, right? If you look at the news, we've got the whole US government shutdown again, right? This isn't something new. It's happened many times. I think the last time 2018, 19, it was about 35 days, right? But it can lead to a bit of chaos, right? Because a lot of the economic data isn't calculated. National parks are shut down, postal service. It's a bit of a calamity, and it's usually just a mess between the Democrats and the Republicans, right? Who's running the show? Now, let's just focus on something that is actually happening, right? And this could be part of that geopolitical issue, right? The US Treasury yields are down slightly. That means a weaker US dollar, right? So at the moment, the equity futures are down, uh, and that's probably clouding the movement on the equities, I mean, on the currencies. But if we look at the major currency pairs, with those slightly lower US yields, we're starting to see a few instruments, right? Sterling is a bit of a dog, right? Because we've got that, the UK government debt issue, which has caught me out a couple of times. But we are starting to see some of these currencies come back to life, right? The dollar has been dominating for like the last probably 2 weeks, and now we're starting to see a little bit of weakness come in. Now, is it going to continue or not? It's hard to say, but I tell you what, when you look at the live signals, we are starting to get a lot more clarity around the major currency pairs, right? They are basically all lined up again. It doesn't take long for the market to calm down and get into the zone. Now, Aussie, a little bit clouded. We have the RBA interest rate decision today as well, so that'll be a bit of a, or could be a tricky event. Kiwi, I mean, these things, Kiwi is so bearish, right? It's the odd one out of the majors, but it is in the buy zone, right? So that's something there as well. We do have the ANZ business confidence numbers. So just looking at the live signals, there's things lighting up, right? That's what you need to notice. What else you need to do is just check the calendar and see what is going to impact or what could impact the market. Now, we do have retail sales, industrial production numbers out of Japan. Yeah, that could be a left field event. I'd say generally probably not. This ANZ business confidence number is a dark horse, right? We have seen this number, have massive variance. There's no sort of general forecast for this number, and it can heavily impact the market. What I can see is potentially those Kiwi GDP numbers a week or so ago may really spin out the business confidence numbers, and that could be like minus 90, and you'll see Kiwi slam to the downside again. The Then we got the some manufacturing numbers out of China, important for Aussie and Kiwi. The RBA interest rate decision, no change of rates expected, but expect the unexpected is what I'm saying. The RBA press conference is probably the event to sort of hear what they're talking about. Okay, what's the plan? Most of the models that the central banks are using are antiquated, right? So I don't know if they're going to come out with something new. They usually don't, but we'll see what happens. Then you got German retail sales and employment numbers. The Swiss COF leading indicators. You get some inflation numbers there out of Germany as well. And then you've got the consumer confidence numbers out of the US and the JOLTS job openings. So there's like a bit for everyone, right? The As we go through the sort of global 24-hour day, the of course you'd expect Aussie and Kiwi to be in the firing line for the first or for the Asian day, right? ANZ business confidence numbers, Chinese manufacturing, RBA interest rate decision. And then it comes back in like Europe. We've got lots of European stuff, and then it swings over to the US, right? The actual S&P Case-Shiller home price data is another well-respected US number that gives a really close or good indication of what the house prices are doing, right? Prices up, prices down. That can have a big impact on building and a whole range of other things. Okay, so there's lots coming out. The key for me is sort of keeping an eye on the market, right? This US government shutdown is giving us a bit of a weaker dollar, but it's about getting the timing right for a lot of these things. Now, the Kiwi, it has been overdone. We're in the buy zone. So, say, for example, this is a good one. Those ANZ business confidence numbers, and I can't imagine. I'm just sort of giving you a hypothetical. The number previously 49.7. If that number came in like at plus 90, right? Well, then that's going to shoot the Kiwi to the top side. And with that sort of momentum, that's a good trade for us. But the likelihood of that is close to, well, probably negative. I was going to say zero because the weaker GDP numbers are probably going to have a number like minus 70. Okay. I think it goes into a minus. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I haven't messed that up. But just keep an eye on the various numbers as we go through the course of the day. It's, there's a fair bit coming out. It's the start of the week. You look through all the numbers, it gets busier from here. Coming through Tuesday, coming to Wednesday, we've got more inflation numbers, house prices, and a bunch of ISM manufacturing numbers, etc. So this is Tuesdays where the week starts. We're just really sort of working out where these major currency pairs are going. I still like the euro crosses. In saying that, like when the majors go, if they all start to go, we could see them all sort of move at the same pace, and that may take the edge off the euro crosses, right? Anyway, we'll see how that plays out. All right, guys, that's it for me for the moment. We're going to just wait and see how the day plays out. Keep an eye on the global markets page. That'll sort of tell you a bit more about what's going on. For me, right now, is a bit of discombobulation because the yields are slightly lower. You'd think the equity futures would go up, but they're not, right? So that's like, okay, a bit of confusion, and that confusion may run into the majors. So just keep an eye on it as we go forward. Any sort of disruption, you can see the Swissy already sort of powering. I like the idea of getting long Swiss or the safe havens come into play. So keep an eye on that as we go forward. At the moment, Swiss, there's a lot of blue on the Swiss, but not so much on the yen. We'll see how that plays out. All right, guys, that's it from me. Have a good trade day and all the best. Cheerio.